tell me a little bit about your role at Big Huge at 38? Like, just talk to me about what you're doing, especially on Reckoning.
Sure. So I'm the general manager at Big Huge Games. Pretty much, I'm there to help facilitate all of the amazing talent. So I don't actually have my hands on the game at all. I'm there to make sure that all the people that all the artists, all the programmers, all the designers have what they need to execute to their best. So.
That's awesome. So talk to me a little bit about like the difficulty of this game in terms of actually hardness. Like, can we expect it to be challenging? Is there a difficulty slider? Like, how exactly are you gauging?
So we haven't revealed all of the systems that we have in place for difficulty, but suffice to say there will be times where it's challenging and times where it's not. I mean, it's like we want to make sure it appeals to the broadest range of people, and that doesn't mean easy to the point that everyone can play it without any type of hiccups. Of course we do want to do that, but we also want players to have challenge. We want there to be, there's a great feeling in where you go into a place in the world and you feel like you are in serious danger. And then you get to build up your character and build up your talents and build up your skill as a player, and you get to come back to that area and just beat the crap out of stuff. It's like you get to exact retribution on that stuff that kind of scared you at first. So that's a really important part of that idea of power is, providing people with challenge and then allowing them to overcome that challenge later and really kind of exact that retribution.
Can you talk any more at length about this crafting at all? I know we saw stage crafting. Can we expect
there's more, yes. I mean, some of the things we allude to are, some alchemy and blacksmithing. We're not kind of talking about the depth of those systems yet, but something that's really important throughout the game is that to provide different types of players, different options of how they play. So, whether it's gathering reagents to, build a potion, or whether it's, socketing a gem of combustion like you saw in the demo in a normal sword and turning it into a flaming sword. We want that kind of action-reaction to happen within the world. We want that, if you put time into these things, you're going to reap good rewards for them, whether it's gameplay rewards or visual rewards or a combination of them. So
that's cool. Very cool. In what ways do you feel like Reckoning is standing out from that, or in ways breaking new ground?
Right. Well, it's there are a number of ways. I mean, I think the most obvious one, and the one that we're talking about most right now, is the combat. We really want you to feel connected to the combat. So the responsiveness of the system is extremely important. I've come from working on a lot of shooters, and it's like you can tell good shooters from average shooters, and a lot of it's based upon the responsiveness. A Modern Warfare or something, there's a reason why it's a 60 frames a second. There's a reason why they spend huge amounts of time tuning and perfecting the responsiveness of that system, because it's really core and it's important to the nature and the feel of those games. And we want to bring that attention to that detail of combat into the open world RPG genre, because it's something that I don't think has been hit really well yet. The world is so rich, it's like, why not make it also incredibly awesome and fun to fight stuff within the world? So that's really, where a lot of the focus goes. I've worked with a ton of studios, and, it's like, I really like the games industry, and I like the people in the games industry. But there's something pretty special about the people at both Big Huge and 38. The hiring practices, for example, are very much geared towards hiring good people as well as talented people. And it can make it difficult and slow to hire sometimes, but it's really important to the culture. And so you can kind of see it in how passionate people are and how collaborative people are. Because, here's 38 studios, they're building this intellectual property and they're building this huge MMO. And they've entrusted Big Huge Games and all the people there to be the ones to come out first with a product. And that's a scary thing for them. And to be able to build up that trust with the two studios and to get to a point where there's a huge amount of collaboration. It's like, there are things that they see us do, whether it's from an animation standpoint or whether it's a visual standpoint of how we approach, what RA may have envisioned on paper, and we've then brought to life, in graphically. That they go, oh, that's really cool. It's like we're going to take some of that. It's like that's really awesome. It's getting that back and forth, and it's the slow build up, but now it's like there's really good momentum with the two studios.
That's cool. What is your hope that they take away from Reckoning in anticipation for Copernicus or whatever that's going to be? What's the kind of company approach to that?
Well, I think it's the setting. I think it's the world that the team, along with RA, have built. It's a really compelling take on fantasy. At its core, it's that great kind of core fantasy world. It's you have a good understanding of it. You feel like you're in a familiar place when you start, but where the game goes and where the fiction goes, and how the different factions and the different races are handled. They have kind of a unique take on it, and when you look at the visuals, how things move within the world, how you as a character move within the world, we think it's got a unique space, and those have great crossovers between the MMO and the single player RPG.
So are the things that we're going to see in Reckoning, are we going to see them again? I'm curious, the areas and
it's I think that's for the Copernicus team to announce, but obviously anything that we have within the game it's part of the whole intellectual property. It's all part of the world, the Kingdom of Amalur. So really, it's all fair game.
That's awesome. Are we going to see big, huge collaborating on that at all, or is that?
We are very focused on Reckoning. So there's a good amount of time left to go. We have got a lot of polish we want to put into this product, and this is really our core focus. So we're gonna focus on finishing the game first.
That's awesome. That's awesome.